what's good, Clout Gang? Hope everybody's doing good. Today I wanted to make a video that's been long overdue. One of my friends, Jamari, he had originally asked me to make a video talking about my top 10 anime, my top 10 anime of all time, explaining why they are my top 10. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. It's going to be a part 1 and part 2 series. So I'm going to drop the first 5 first, and then I'll do a part 2 video with the next 5. So this is strictly based on my opinion. The things I look at is story, animation, of course, and the character development and how much I can relate to them or I want to be like them, and then fight and stuff like that. But yeah, this is just my top 10 of all time. I'll explain why, and hope you guys enjoy it. At number 10, we have Ahiru No Sora. This is a sports basketball anime that I watched a few years ago. It's very, very good, has an amazing story and very emotional, feel good, and that's why I liked it. I sometimes want to compare it to Kuroko no Basket, which is one of the more popular basketball anime, and then Slam Dunk, which is a really big classic from way back, a very nice retro anime. If you haven't watched that one, I would suggest you go watch it. But the reason I like Ahiru No Sora is because of the overall story. It's about a little kid who joined a high school and he wanted to play on the basketball team to prove to his mom that he could do it, because his mom used to be a basketball player for the women's national team of Japan. But he was unhappy when he found out that the team was made up of just a bunch of hard-headed gangsters. And he really had to work hard to gain their trust and turn them into a real basketball team. But the funny thing is, throughout the entire series, they never won a game. And this guy was 5'2", 5'3", and he was the best player on the team until they recruited a dude with cornrows who was also really good, but they all had individual problems like fighting, smoking, and eventually the team fell apart because they were smoking in the locker room and ended up burning down the entire facility. And the story development is so good because he was just trying to prove to his mom that even though he was born at 5'2", 5'3", he could really be a great basketball player. And what makes it sad is at the end of the series, his mom actually passed away because she was very ill. But he had a high school game and she wanted to make sure she went and saw it. So she went there in a wheelchair and everything and was watching him. He didn't know that she was there. And at the end of the series, after losing that game, he went to the hospital to tell her about the game, and she was crying and saying, sorry that I couldn't make you more bigger. But it's just a very emotional and great story. I gravitate to animes like that because a lot of people could possibly relate to that in real life. It's only one season. It's very good. I suggest if you haven't seen it, you go check it out. I think it's on Crunchyroll or Amazon Prime. Very, very good anime series if you like sports. I know a lot of people don't watch sports anime, but I love the way how they do the timing and the skill development and how each player has their own individual things going on and how people are getting crossed up and shots are being made in an anime. So Ahiru No Sora, that's my number 10 top 10 anime. Coming in at number 9, we have Samurai Champloo. So this is an older anime, retro. It has a very adventurous and feel-good vibe to it as well, similar to the last one that I just described, but more so adventurous. It's about 3 strangers that came together to basically accomplish one task. Mugen and Jin, who are both swordsmen, but they're the complete opposite of each other. Mugen is more of a wild style fighter who kind of just does his own thing, and Jin is more disciplined because he was trained in a dojo and he's very serious. And then you have Fu, who's a young girl who they met at a restaurant in the first episode, and they decided to help her to go look for a samurai that smells of sunflower who was supposedly to be her father. The reason I really like this anime is the adventurous aspect of it, because they go on journey from city to city to search for this samurai. And that's what I like about animes. I don't like animes that's situated in one setting. For example, there's just one house or one city. I like when they're moving from one location to next because you get like a new story or advance on the story from the previous episode. But it's really good. The fighting scenes kind of remind me of old school Jackie Chan movies. It's swordsmen, so it's really cool to see people get caught up and stuff like that. And another big aspect about this anime is that it ties in with like old school hip hop. So whenever you watch the anime and you hear the intro, it's actually rapping. I never did the research to see if it ties into anything like US rapping, if any of those rappers contributed anything to it, but I really love the music and the rapping aspect of it. But it's a really great story. Another one where it's only, I think, one season, easy to watch. Swordsmen fighting, going on adventure. So if you like an anime that's short, nice character development, I would definitely say check this one out. I love watching a lot of retro anime, and that's why this one is on my list at number 9. At number 8, we have Rurouni Kenshin, which is another retro anime, an all-time classic that I think a lot more people know and used to watch. I remember watching this one when I was extremely young. I'm thinking maybe when I was in like primary school or something. But it's another swordsman anime about a guy who used to be a part of the army, who used to be a top general and killed a lot of people. But he gave up on that life and he was just wandering the countryside with a reverse side blade. And he had vowed to like not kill anyone since because of his past life. And he came to a new village where he met a girl and he helped her out to save her from some guys who were either trying to beat her up or kill her or something. And he decided to stay there and he met some other characters. I think if I remember correctly, there's a tall guy with like a really big sword with a headband. And then there's like a little boy who became like an apprentice. He never even really used to use a real sword. It was a bamboo sword. But I don't remember too much because, again, I watched this so long ago. But this is one of the all-time great swordsman anime. When you think about swordsmen in anime, like Kenshin was really, really dope and cool. Like whenever he fought, seriously, there isn't really no one that could compare to him. And then I remember he had the distinctive scar on his forehead, and that's how people was able to identify that he was the guy from the king's army. I think Kenshin was even either his fake name or he went under a different name. And whenever someone found out who he really was, they mentioned the name that he had when he was in the army. But another great retro anime, great characters, great development. I feel like most people have watched it. If you haven't watched it, I would definitely suggest you go check it out. I remember watching it as a kid and it was a big part of my childhood. And that's why this is at number 8 and I really gravitate to it. At number 7, we have another old anime that I feel like a lot of you will know, Inuyasha. Now, this one holds a very special place with me because I remember a time period, I grew up in Jamaica. There was a time period when I was moving and we didn't have electricity for, let's say, maybe about a week. And this was the only anime I had on my computer downloaded back in the day. And I had like almost all the episodes. So I would watch this day and night because we didn't have TV, because we didn't have the electricity at the time to watch TV, right? So Inuyasha is an anime about a little girl who fell inside a well and she found this half demon. Inuyasha is a dog demon, if I remember correctly. And I remember watching it. The story is really good. He's basically fighting to get back a jewel. I remember the big white sword that he had that I used to think that was so heavy for him to swing around. And whenever he channeled his demon powers, that was really good too. But forgive me if I'm not describing it perfectly. Again, most of these animes are animes that I've watched a really long time ago, but I have to put them on the list. I can't just put more modern or anime of the last 1 or 2 years because these were the animes I grew up watching, but I haven't watched it in so long that I don't even remember clearly the full story. But I would definitely tell you to check out Inuyasha if you're looking for a feel-good anime with a great story and a great main character. I remember watching him, the way he fought and the way how the girl would go back and forth to go visit him and how many times he would save her. So this one is high on the list because of the place it holds, because there was a time period in my life where this was the only anime I was watching. So definitely check it out. At number 6, now we're going to switch it up a bit. I feel like the last couple that I just described was all feel good, not super graphic or bloody type anime. We're going to switch it up now. At number 6, we have Beserk. This is one of my all-time favorite anime when it comes to gruesome killing. I suggest if you haven't watched this anime and you want to watch it, if you're not one for blood and really, really messed up scenes, I would suggest you not go watch this. So Beserk is all about a guy by the name of Guts, who was somewhat of a swordsman too. He swung around a very, very big sword, and he was just on a journey to be the strongest, and he was recruited by this guy named Griffin. This guy had long white hair and almost looked like a female in the anime world. I'm not even gonna lie. Everyone who's watching this video who's seen Berserk know we don't like Griffin because he did something very horrible at the end of Berserk. But Berserk is a very, very good anime. This guy Guts, he's one of the strongest protagonists I've ever seen. He's out there killing and doing everything all on his own. Eventually, after joining up with Griffin, he fell in love with the girl. I think her name was Casca or something like that. But eventually they fell in love, and he decided that he couldn't be strong enough if he stayed by Griffin's side. So he was leaving, but Griffin didn't want him to leave. So they had a battle where he defeated Griffin and he ended up leaving. But Griffin was demon possessed or something like that, and it brought out all the demons from hell. And he had to go save Casca. And then there was a very, very messed up scene where Casca basically got raped by Griffin in front of Guts. And Guts cut off his own hand just to go save her. And then he got branded with a demon scar that whenever it was activated in the moonlight or something like that, the demons would come out and come after him. But this one is no kids anime. It's super gruesome, super bloody, and like I said, it has some messed up scene, but it's one of my all-time favorite because I love the loner aspect of Guts, the way how he's out there just doing everything on his own, and the way that he develops his strong when he gets the Berserker armor after the demons came out of hell. So really, really good anime, very popular one too. I feel like most people have seen it. If you haven't seen it before, definitely go check it out. The first 5 out of my top 10 animes of all time. Please let me know in the comments if you've watched all of these animes, and if you do, what do you remember about it, or why do you like it, and if it falls in your top 10 as well. Thank you guys for watching. Look out for part 2 coming next with the final top 5.